Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here. I'm calling from the big island of Hawaii. My show has got a couple topics today, but the main one, are demons real? All right. The question is, do you believe in demons? Do you believe in angels? What do you believe in? Do you believe in God? With the world changing the way it is, many people are losing faith, losing religion, losing their beliefs to adopt an unknown movement, meaning we're all one, we're all connected to a power called the universe. All right, now, we're going to be talking about what I know as reality and real. Maybe you didn't experience anything pertaining to what I'm going to be talking about, but somewhere along the way, hopefully you'll understand what we're trying to get to by doing this. All right, now, we have demons, ghosts, spirits, entities. They give a lot of the weird entities names like poltergeists and gnomes and different kind of psychic names, if you want to give it a definition. But we have spirits that don't move on. When people die, their soul stays here. Are they bad or good? Depends what kind of situation they were involved with before they died. Most of them are lost souls and need a direction to get here. All right. But on the other hand, we all have free will to follow and do what we want, which makes it a little bit more harder to live in life because there's a lot of laws. The laws of man are not equal to the laws of spirit. And I'm going to bring a guest on today who is one of the top exorcists in the United States. He should be here probably in about a half hour or so. But what I want to get into a couple things before he comes on. We don't agree on everything. I don't think anybody agrees with somebody else totally on everything. We do believe and know aliens and demons are real. How they affect people is different. And how that happens to them, where they pick it up, how they get it, how a person decides to pick a person. It's usually vulnerability, non-protection, non-aware beings, people don't know how to protect themselves, go in situations where they're totally open for an attack by something, or they move into a house that's haunted. All these little things contribute to these things that happen. Possession, all right, abduction. Now, they're different. I mean, a lot of people in the UFO world say demons are just aliens. Christianity says the opposite. The reality is, the truth is, do you want it or not? Truth is, they're both real, but they are separate. Now, people will say, well, the higher spiritual aliens, no such thing. The higher aware demons, no such thing. Now, and I'm going to go into a couple things, and then I'll break it down why I can talk about it. All right. Lucifer is a fallen angel like many of the other angels, but he was called the bringer of the light. So mankind twisted him, whatever words that fit your idea, to the idea of Satan, because Satan's mentioned a lot in the Bible, and it was Satan that controls this planet in a great way. His demons, his army are here. They have been here for a really long time. Whether people admit it or not, the simplest way is to look at a person's reality, how they live, what they do, how they interact with animals, how they interact with children, how they interact with their family. And you'll get a greater understanding of what possession means. We have a couple other words that people follow and become: drunks and drug addicts, abusers. All right. Those people have something wrong somewhere in their spirit, I would say in their soul body or their mind. Soul doesn't really get sick, but it has to dwell within inside this body that has a mind. And the mind could be corrupted or programmed. I use programmed a lot because a lot of people have a program in there and they're not just crazy. And that's a big difference. And if you want to go into the word crazy, what does it really mean? Usually it means a person that doesn't agree with the laws of reality, meaning the laws that the people within their country made. Now, if anybody agrees with the China laws, I would say they're sick. Anybody agrees with the Muslim laws, I would say they're sick. But do they have a disease? No, they have a mind situation that's a program. And when demons come into a body, you never know what happens. It can change reality to anything you could never imagine. All right, now, where am I? Back to where I was starting with. We have this different ability to change. All right. A lot of things in our reality, how we accept it or not. But we have to follow through. All right. You follow a religion, follow your religion. If it's not right, get out of it. You can't take some parts of something and say that's who you are. If you're a Christian, you're a Christian. If you're a Muslim, having a lot of problems, and I shouldn't be. Uh, I wish there was something else I could close down. I don't think there is. Hold on. Uh, I don't want to close my Skype down because the person I'm having come in might call that. Let me just try to cut a couple of things down. Something's taking my energy. I don't know what it is. Sorry about all that if you're still here. Sorry, everybody. It took me a while. I lost my screen, but I'm back. Hopefully, everything's okay. Uh, so, getting back to where I was, we got a lot of different entities and spirits and air spirits, water spirits, fire spirits, salamanders, rock people, tree people. All these kind of things have some kind of form. Well, I have a guest coming on in a little while. Sorry what happened. I have no clue. Show went down. I lost a couple minutes there, but it's still running, so that's a good thing. I can see the time still going. So with all that, I want to get into a couple things before my guest comes on. His name's Jeffrey. I have a lot of things that I'm aware of because I actually did exorcisms in my life. I worked as a spirit. I don't want to use the word spiritual. I don't like the word as a hypnotist, working with demons and entities as well. But the thing is, they come into the body a lot of different ways. The mind accepts them in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, we're all here. All right. So, what I want to do is break it down. For me, when I was young, uh, I got involved with aliens, which I didn't want to. I got involved with deities, which I had no clue about. And I learned and worked with them, and not the aliens directly, but with deities, which I did. And during that time, I ended up dealing with aliens and stuff like that. But over time, I studied religions, and I got into one particular one. I became a witch. I don't like the word used, warlock. But I was a high priest. I had a covenant. I was doing everything out of my own awareness. All right. And that's not coming from books. There wasn't books out when I was little about witchcraft. I think there was one book put out, which over a couple of years I ended up getting it. Didn't say much. It said a couple of things about spells. There was an album put out by Vincent Price was the speaker on it. One side was a whole ritual, and the other side was music and songs, demon songs and stuff like that. But in my covenant, I learned during a couple of years, I learned about all the psychic powers. There's 32 of them. And I could say I went through most of them. One I never did, probably the only one I really, really, really wanted to have. But what I did find out, witchy woman, right, by the Eagles, I realized that they can't be used in the present time frame. People think they can. Now, I can break it down and say, look, Egyptians, Mayans, going back as far as you want, use psychic abilities and stuff. Look where their world became or went. All right. When you use psychic abilities in this physical reality and you're not truly connected to a source, not like sauce on pizza or nothing like that or spaghetti, but to the real source of life, of creation, which is God, no other word, you can't use them. And I became aware of all my past lives. There was many. So my first ones, going back to the beginning of this planet, when the human race was put here, not the Anunnaki or any other alien races that were here. I'm talking about the first humans that were here. It was Atlantis. And the beings that came into that to destroy it came a little bit further on in time, because Atlantis was an incredible place to be. If the world was like that now, it would be, with all these people, with all the things we can do, working together, this world would be the most incredible planet and race of beings in the whole multi-universe. But sadly, we can't get along. Alien races can't get along. And even more than that, I'm having problems again. I just changed my modem. I just changed my router. I should be okay, but I'm right in the middle of the show again. So what I want to say is, okay, I went through a lot of things, and I worked hard to get to where I'm at. I studied about 14 religions, realizing they're not helping us. The New Age world, another ripoff for spiritual truth, and just about every speaker out there talking about spiritualism should have a cork in their mouth because they have no clue what they're saying. All right. Now, I have been able to experience a lot of things that most people will not, or if maybe would not want as well. Because personally, I had 5 death experiences. For me, they were all incredible. Hold on. Hello, I'm on a show. Can you get in? Do you see the link on your Skype? It should be there. Do you see it? You should see a big picture of a video, and then right on top of that should say a link, and you click on that link, should get you into the show. The screen will come up, and you got to sign into it. Do you see the email I sent you on Skype saying this is the link? What was that? I could barely hear you, but well, try to get in. I'll let you play with that, all right? I'll come back in a couple minutes if you didn't get in. All right, hopefully the guest will be coming on in a couple minutes. He's got the link, and hopefully he can get into it. So, all right. We're going to probably take a different course as soon as he comes on. But for me, I was just trying to say there's teachings and talk and everything else out there. But when you start your own spiritual quest for truth, everything you think you know becomes useless or not right or not beneficial to help you move forward. Hold on, let me just check with him. Jeffrey, do you see the link?
I'm running through it right now.
Okay, all right. Just making sure, because you'll pop up on my screen and then I'll bring you in. So, what I want to say is if you listen to the show and you stick through it, you might learn something. I mean, I'm not here to promote lies and stories, fantasies, ideas of other people's experiences out in La La Land, dream world, futuristic, whatever. You're coming on. I'll see you in a second, hopefully.
Tom, you're bathed in fire.
Yes, I am. Okay, you got a ripple screen there. You got your video on?
Fine. Do I need to have Skype on or just this?
No, you should. Well, if you're going through Skype, you should. I mean, can you go to a regular site to get in or no? Because I don't see your picture. I got a bunch of purple lines.
Take a look.
But put your camera on and see if that helps. Maybe it will.
It's on.
It's on, huh?
I'm just trying to think of, like, do I need to, can I disconnect from Skype?
Try to, and if you pop off, just come back in.
Okay. Albert, can you bring me a napkin, like a paper towel?
I hear you fine. Not loud, but I hear you. You can still hear me, right? All right. All right. I don't know what's happening. I'll give him a few more minutes to see if he can try to get in. All right. There's a lot of energy in the air. That's not good. I guess. Okay, that's good. That's better. I'm looking at all your screens.
Now the camera is not.
I hear you, but yeah, I got all your screens popped up and not you. I'll let you play with that a little bit longer, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, you can get in. Can you kind of get rid of all your little screens, or no? All right, people, I'm sorry. We're got a lot of technical difficulties. I don't know if we'll be able to straighten this out with Jeffrey. Can you talk, Jeffrey? Can you hear me? All right. Well, I'll give him a couple more seconds and see if he can get into it or not. Oh, that's good. That's good. I see you. You got your mic on?
Have to get the.
Put your mic up as high as you can, because I barely hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Me testing.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's a lot better.
Well, I can't hear you, but you can. Seems like I'm coming through.
I hear you now, but you can't hear me? My mic's on. I don't know why you can't hear me.
I guess I would speak to sound. No, it's kind of interesting. I heard you before. Okay.
All right. Hold on. Did you mute? All right. You can't hear me now, huh? Jeffrey, you don't hear me? Oh, man. I don't know if anybody out there can hear me. Anybody in the chat room, can you hear me? I'm checking the chat room to see if they can hear me. Hold on. Hado, can you hear me?
Maybe I'm gonna have to open up Skype again. Hang on. That's all there is to it.
Can you hear me now? I'm just checking with the Skype room. I mean, the people in the chat. All right. I don't know if he lost me or not. Well, they can hear me, so it's something's on your end that's not working or set up or not turned on.
Hello.
I can hear you.
I don't think it's Skype. What's up?
Oh man, this ain't working. Do you have a browser you can go in?
Testing 1, 2, 3. It's coming through. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
All right. Can you hear me now? Jeffrey, on your thing, it says unmute mic. Jeffrey, can you hear me? This ain't working. Okay, that's talk. Jeffrey, try talking now. All right. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get him on. Oh, this is a pain. All right. Okay. Remember, when we talk about words, device is not connected. Hold on, just let me try one more thing. You're back.
Right now.
I hear you. Can you hear me now?
I'm looking at a couple things.
Oh, guess you can hear me then. Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey. Oh, this is bad. Jeffrey, can you hear me? Well, when you say which demons and which ones are bad, well, all Lucifer's, all right, Lucifer's up in heaven for a word. He's in the Esther plane. He's on the higher level of the Esther plane. He's in control of a lot of things. He's along with two other what I call little gods called deities. Satnam, Jehovah, and they all make sure souls from this realm that go to the Esther plane just don't move from there into the next realm after that. That's one of their main purposes. And then they also decide which one has to come back to planet Earth. Not like all these new age people say, well, I decide when I want to come back. I can come back as anything as I want. No, you can't. Your karma that you created will allow you to become and do whatever you're supposed to do to work out the karma that you already created. No, I can't say for the whole universe and everything, but no person has that ability to say, I could come back and be this. I could tell you, even the lamas that try it, not every lama can come back as they say they're going to come back. Sai Baba, who's had one of the biggest followings on this planet, he turns around and he supposedly gives the date when he's going to die and when he's going to come back before he dies. Well, he had pneumonia and died, so he never even got to tell anybody when he was going to come back. So he died without being aware of when he was going to die. Getting into these demons, how many are there? There's many kinds that I don't even know about. But because of the Philadelphia experiment, which became the Montauk Project, the word that they use a lot now is vortexes. And basically, it wasn't a recognized word, especially pertaining to reality. I mean, when Star Trek, Star Wars, and we're going to go into a vortex, into another reality. All right, it wasn't real. All right, thanks to Tesla, it became real. All right, you're back. Are your voice there?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear
I
me?
just can't hear you, Tommy. I don't know what the deal is. I heard you before at one point, and I cannot hear you,
So you on a regular
unfortunately.
browser coming into this site? Oh, you can't hear me?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if people can hear you either.
Like,
Oh, they can hear you too, but
Firefox.
he can't hear me. So the problem is, uh, I don't know how we're gonna fix it.
Should have gone through this earlier
Uh,
on YouTube.
well, the only thing I could say, you want to reschedule
Tommy,
the
I
show.
can't hear you.
I I'm gonna just try calling him on the phone, see if I can get him. Hold on.
I don't know why that's happening. Anyway, there's nothing when I click on it.
Ringing. Okay, pick it up. I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. For some reason, I can't hear you.
Everybody in the chat, I mean, the people in the chat room can hear me, and they can hear you too.
Right, but I can't hear you. And for some reason, when I go to the controls to turn the
Microphone on?
no, my headset, it basically uh, doesn't. I can't operate it for some reason. It's very strange. Now, they probably can hear me now.
Yeah, but you're not on my show yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the thing right now.
See, they said they can hear you. So if you leave, it'll cut down on the frequency. But if you leave that up, it might come over and go through my set, so you can hear me. All right. Your device isn't connected, so it says connect your device, connect your microphone right now. And then hopefully you'll be able to get into the show.
I'm just gonna try Firefox.
Okay, I'm going to disconnect the other one. Well, you didn't get in, so.
No, I gotta go back and hit share screen. Go to another different kind of thing, like screen to.
Well, it came on and then went off. No, I don't think this is going to. All right, you're
No.
there. Let me add you. Hold on. I'm off a little on. Okay, your
Can
screen's.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know if you hear it through Skype. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I don't even. I don't know. I can hear you. Yeah.
All right.
Ask your people in your chat room if they can hear you.
Oh, they can. They can hear you too.
Okay. Well, we're ready to go.
But whatever. Your screen's the size of mine, but that's no problem. I don't care. All right. The little head on the side's me, just so you know, everybody out there. Uh, okay, we'll proceed from here. All right. I'll let you. I was talking about you before you came, so I'll let you introduce yourself and tell people who, where, and how to get you for now, and then we'll get into a conversation.
Sure. I clear people, property, and businesses of negative emotional energies, and if necessary, banish different kinds of spirits. I'm a published author, trained exorcist. I've been doing this for 30 years professionally, and I have appeared on Coast to Coast 6 times, and many television shows, national television shows, and wherever I happen to be the last 30 years.
So that's it. You okay?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, just tell everybody if they want to get in touch with you. We'll give it out first, and then we'll just tell them your site.
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me, starclear.com, starclear.com, and maybe I can put it into the chat room or something if you are listening. I don't know if take a look here. I don't see a place. I just see a private chat thing, but anyway, starclear.com is my website.
All right. So I started to talk about a lot of the different spirits and demons, entities, all the things that exist on this planet. But let's start at the beginning. When people come to you, the first question I'll ask you is why or how or what makes a person call you?
The most common call that I get is when people feel uncomfortable in their living environment, or they feel that they are a little bit too negative or feeling too negative, or over emotional for no particular reason, or that they know exactly what the reason is and they want to get rid of that negative emotional energy, not positive emotional energies, but negative emotional energies. And they would call me from around the world, and I work on Skype, and usually it works. And and also Zoom and other formats, also pictures and telephone. Lots of ways to that I help people. But essentially, what I'm doing is I'm very good at essentially channeling a known positive energy or energies that have an effect upon other non-physical energies. So everything I do is actually a science. I can explain it very carefully and in detail, and that there's a logic to it, like a practicality. It's not religious.
Well, we'll go over your how to get in touch with you and everything in a little bit because somebody said they didn't catch what you said. You said your site too fast. But he's been out there a long time now. So I mean, I did a couple exorcisms and things like that. I didn't make my life pertaining to that. This is a person who's been well established doing what he does, and I know there's people with questions and stuff, but whatever you feel, if you know people, send them the link because he's one person that I trust. Very few people do I trust to promote his name to help people get out of the situations that they're in. Now we're going to get into the aspect of what is a possession. Many people probably don't know what it is. I mean, if nobody ever saw the movie The Exorcist, they probably don't even understand it at any level. So I'll let you give your definition of what possession usually entails when it's a real possession. Not we'll get into the other things around that, but a real possession. What is a real possession?
A real possession technically is when you are being controlled. A person a living person is being controlled by an external force completely, and that would mean that by a spirit, and there are different kinds of spirits. So that person is being completely taken over. That would be a 100% possession. Possession occurs to varying degrees, meaning that there could be just a negative emotional connection between you and the negative spirit, and so it can influence and even prompt or amplify emotional energies in that person by an external force, and that is it could be anywhere from considered to be temporary possession, say when people black out on alcohol or drugs and then something else steps in temporarily, or also just that a person is under attack, meaning that there is a negative emotional energy connection, and that the negative spirit, which is one aspect of this possession, essentially you made me smaller. You did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Now you're the big cheese.
Now I'm the big cheese.
So to say here in Wisconsin, but so I think it happens more often than people think. But the actual possession part is less common. That doesn't mean that negative spirits throwing out their rage and anger, which are emotional energies, Tommy, that they can affect people on an emotional level, and that is the most dangerous part and the most common form of attachment or connection, negative connection, leading up to possession, which does happen, but it's more more of the idea of just influencing. And so that also people around us have a profound emotional effect upon us, and they can influence our emotions. Just about everybody has a story of somebody coming into around you at the office or a work environment or at a store or a restaurant or any place, and you feeling their negative vibes, so to speak, their negative vibrations. They're giving off some negative things, and they might even say some negative things. So people can affect us just as much as spirits can, and that's what I'm trying to get at with all of this.
Well, for me, I've been around a lot of people, and I would say a lot of them are possessed, don't realize it, don't want to recognize it. I know even in my family, I had a problem, and nobody will let it go there. Whether it's the programming that mankind has been given about possession and what it means, and you're a bad person, or however they assume that it becomes part of their reality, that it's like somebody with you in their life for a short period of time can change that. Most people deal with the drinking, the drugs, and psychiatrists, which really don't ever touch it. And I know that for a fact. So, I mean, I give you credit for doing what you're doing. We need a few more people doing it in the United States right now. There's just so many people under attack, don't know how the attack comes in. They don't know how to fight the attack. I have a friend. I don't know if he's going to get in today or not to listen, but he'll probably pull up the link later. I don't know if I could cut the beginning out or not either, but what would you tell people?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I'll have to play with that because it's like 45 minutes of time. The first 20 minutes was okay, but when I tried getting it in, it just became crazy. But what would you tell people? They're afraid to come to you, and maybe they think they have no money and they can't do it or whatever. But what would you give a person if they think they're possessed? What alternatives do they really have, if any?
Well, the goal is to dissolve the negative connections between an external secondary spirit and you. And I believe that each person has two levels, the physical and the non-physical. The non-physical level of ourselves is also known as the spirit or the soul. And so that's what they're attached to. They're not attached to your body. A negative spirit would be attached to your spirit, essentially, and your non-physical body. And so you want to dissolve that connection, and you can try it yourself, or you can maybe call somebody reputable who can do this. This can be done from a distance, and I do that from a distance as well. On the other side, there's no such thing as distance anyways. It's all a matter of focus. And so it can be done from anywhere, because if we're looking at, the exorcist version of exorcism, from the book, William Peter Blatty book and the movie and all that, that's a whole different story. That actually, I took that part to explain to people on a show called 13 Most Shocking Hollywood Curses on A&E here in the United States. And so Linda Blair was on that show, and Ellen Burstyn, and they did interviews with all of us. And the original story came from a something real that happened, but it also took place in a couple different Catholic hospitals, and 99% of the supernatural effects that happened in the movie did not happen in real life. Most of the book and the movie were fictional. So, but I mean, I guess what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at here is that it usually isn't like that, where somebody is, has supernatural powers and they're going to toss you across the room and all of that. For one thing, most possessed people, Tommy, are not going to call me,
right?
Because they're possessed. And if they're possessed, then if they're totally possessed by a secondary outside force or conscious or personality, I'm the last person they're going to call because I can do something about it.
But quick question though, but doesn't,
yeah.
I mean, couldn't a family member could call you and say that something's happening, no? Like a mother, the brother, or the father, and they could say, my son's going through a problem, my daughter's going through a problem. You can work with them, right? I mean, on the possession, what's the word? Allowing you to do it. Does the person that's possessed have to say they want you to do it, right? Or no?
It depends. There are people who are pretty far gone, and wishful thinking is not going to stop that, meaning that the person who's possessed usually has to want to not be possessed. And there are cases where a loved one would.
Oh, I just lost your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There are times when a loved one will call me with the best of intentions in order to try to help somebody that may be under the influence, external influence by a negative spirit. And I do my best to help them. But it all depends. A person has to want to not be possessed. And there are people out there that, if they don't want my help directly, sometimes I can help and sometimes I cannot. It all depends. I think I can make things better and make it easier for them to break free, but they also have to want to break free. I mean, if they don't want to break free, there is no, not much I can really do.
Right.
And so sometimes people, it sounds weird, but sometimes there are people out there that feel they're getting something out of all this.
I got two things to bring up on that, but Bob Dylan, who I liked, I liked his music, and bought a lot of his albums and things like that. My brother did, but he came out publicly, and he said he sold his soul to the devil. And he said when he did that, everything in his life turned to gold. He also admitted, he said, there's a lot of other rock stars out there that did the same thing as he did. At a conscious level, I mean, he said every album every song that he wrote for people even all became the bestseller. So for him, it was a good thing. And why would he want to give that up? Because except when he dies, when whatever deal he worked out with the devil, Satan, I guess was payable. I mean, as far as that goes, how far he has to pay for that. I mean, he wasn't like he was hurting people, but most people would say, I'll sell my soul for $10 million. You can have my soul, but make me a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever. And at that point, they'll live their life knowing what they did, not caring because they got everything they want. So later, it's like when we create karma, we could keep creating it, but it really doesn't matter until we decide to stop creating it and pay it off. And then you got a different ball game of how you have to live life. But I want to say this, a good friend of mine works with he calls God and an alien being that he works with. And both of them, when he goes in the shower, he communicates with them and they both teach him, talk to him and everything else. For a while, all of a sudden he says, I'm getting sick. And he was getting sick and it looked like he was getting really close to dying. And I said, could I do work on you? I said, something's wrong. He goes, no, I think I'm being a new being's going to come and help me. When I went to work on him, I find out there's an entity absorbing his energy on his spine. So I did work on him and removed it. The next day, his guide, his alien friend, came to him and said, why didn't you ask me to stay? In other words, he chose the spirit creature, entity, whatever you want to call it, on him that was absorbing his life force, over these other two, and was just focusing on that when he should have just kept focusing on his. And I tell people, if you work with an angel, you work with a guide, talk to them. Don't ask them about every other thing under the sun. They're there for you. They're not there for the planet. We all have our own things we need to work with. And I said, look, and then I was actually working on him, and he stood up and said, don't touch me, you're going to die. I said, sit down. And then the next day, his guide came back, and everything was good again. But, you know, this, like you were saying, how some people don't realize what it is, accept it as reality. And then with things like abuse and those kind of things in reality, I'm writing a book on that right now. But when it comes into a person's life, they lose touch with what's right and wrong. I mean, children that are like constantly abused learn to accept that, or it becomes part of their reality. Yeah. So when they walk into a sex club or something like that, they think it's all normal. Abuse and all those other things become part of, okay, well, that's normal. So this is, I think we're creating the wall. Rather than taking the wall down, we're creating this wall around ourselves. However you want to word it. Maybe we should be putting the wall up and we're tearing it down to keep us protected. Now, what are you, I mean, getting out of, like, say all your friends are drug addicts. I mean, removing yourself from that is I don't know what you put up. Is it something we're supposed to read?
No.
Oh, because I see your screen, just so you know. All right. So, what you got that other one open? That could be a problem too.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Because it's I can't cut you off on this end. It's not letting me. Because I was afraid I'd cut you off. But so, is there things in their own reality, in their own house, that they can do for themselves for protection? And could you go into any of that? That would you expose help for people? I mean, burning sage. I mean, the traditional native things they do, incense, prayer. I mean, what would your suggestions be? Like you said, if a person's afraid to go out and tell you that they're really possessed, or afraid that they really are, what can a person do for themselves if they're, like you said, if they're trying to fight what they're going through? Not become part of it, not to accept it, but to really try to stop it.
Well, I have some audio lessons on the front page of my website. And people can download this page, goes to this page, bookmark the page, and start listening to these audio lessons, because it really makes it a difference in the problem. You know, that I don't, it's different every time. Some people have more serious issues going on than others. You know, if you're just trying to keep your living environment clear, then there are certain things you would probably want to do. If you have a more serious issue, then it may require more serious study at the very least, or calling somebody in to help. So what can, you know, it's kind of it's a loaded question, Tommy, meaning that I people to do the same thing. I mean, it kind of is like involved.
Well,
And people can't be automatic clearing experts. You know, they have to study at least 80 minutes.
see, you know, I agree with you. I mean, you don't just say, I'm going to be a builder and build houses with bricks and not even know how to make the concrete or anything.
Well, let me answer it this way. Talking about a person, you know, who wants to protect themselves, which is a good portion of my business. You want to make your energy field stronger and less of a target from people who are generating negative energy around you, whom you love and who you don't love, people at work, people you come into contact with, environments you come into contact with. So there are ways to strengthen your aura, and that's one of the things that I teach.
Well, we're all here to learn something for ourselves, and I just feel too many people are giving that up. Well, I'm supposed to help everybody else, and I know people, and the saying is, you can't help nobody until you can help yourself, which is a true statement. But learning how to do that is, I think, a lot more complicated than people think. Finding a religion's not the answer. Following a speaker's not the answer. But I use the word, you have to start by going inside. Like you said, I talk about the soul a lot, not the mind. The mind, to me, is a program that we program from the time we hear our first word from our parent, to the schools we go to, the people we hang with, and all that becomes part of your ability to think. Now, the outside abilities, when you go into a daydream or a vision and you experience things that the mind hasn't experienced, it opens that vortex. And I promote a lot of different things, including not astral projection, but I would rather use the word soul travel and all those little things to understand what you are when the physical body dies. And it gives you a greater understanding why you're in this body. Because if you think you're just this body, which a lot of people believe, and you die, you don't take this body with you. I mean, and everybody assumes when they go to heaven, I don't know how you deal with the astral plane a lot, but I used to, whatever you did is outrageous, weird, but put a whole bunch of numbers on the screen. But that's, let me do this for now. No, I don't want to do that. All right, until you come back, I'll leave you in a bunch of squares. I hope you can hear me.
So I come back?
No, you didn't come back yet. You're a bunch of squares. Oh, there you are. Okay. So, sorry about that. A lot of problems today. You know, we can talk about this real fast because I don't know how it's going to interfere with everything, but I truly feel it will. The 5G just got activated. The virus just started spreading. So we got these things happening to us.
Ah! I'm being attacked.
Oh, your kitty? I can't even see. Is it your dog or cat? Oh, okay.
My cat.
Your cat. All right. My little dog, he's sound asleep next to me. So we each work hard in trying to find the right steps in life, but we let the programming from everybody else affect us what we're supposed to be. I talk about the laws of the United States even. They're created by certain people that have a certain level of awareness, and they don't deal with things like you and me. They don't I don't think Trump would even know what possession was, even if he is. I mean, we got people in power in places controlling us. I mean, the whole New Order thing. I mean, the Knights of Templar are a totally different game now than what they used to be. I know what they were when they were created, but now it's a money-making religion, which I found recently because I wanted to trace out a certain heritage. And the Knights of Templar are growing and big, but it's a matter of what level you want to attain. You pay for it. All these little things take away from like our protection, who we are, what we should be, how we could act. And you got, I don't think you talk about aliens as much as I do. Not that I want to, but it's becoming a big part of reality right now. And the games that are going on with that. Now, I want you to tell people this because they might not know this. Aliens affect us the same as possession does. You want to go into that? Do you feel like it?
Well, aliens are no different than anybody else, really, except for they come from different planets. And so they're around, and anybody who could fly across the universe or the galaxies or the solar systems are probably more advanced than we are.
But do you believe they possess people?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure on that.
I think they can telepathically sometimes control people and for short periods of time. But I guess the question is, why would they need to do that?
Well, the number one reason they do that is to block a person's mind when they abduct them. That's the number one reason why they would do that.
I think they probably could put somebody, knock them out, capable of knocking people out, essentially making them pliable.
Well, I guess when I started at 14. I became a high priest at 16. I had my own covenant. And I was learning about the psychic abilities that exist in this reality. Not that many people have them, and if they do have them, they have them at such a small percentage, like a psychic reader and a psychic healer and those kind of words. If one person, and I say this greatly, if just one person had any ability of the 32 of them at about 95 or even 100%, they would change reality completely. I mean, and the simplest way I could describe that, if you're a psychic claiming you could see the future and everything else, if you could see 1 minute into the future at any given time, you could become the richest person on the planet in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we talk about psychic abilities, I'm psychic. I dealt with this. I was doing a show for a year. The one, she wasn't on my side, but we did just roundtables once a week and stuff. And she would say, I'm psychic. I can do anything I want. I said, could you go to the casino and pick out the number? She goes, any day I can. And I said, why are you sitting there smoking cigarettes with hardly any money? So the people that say they can, I'm the one person that says, prove it. You have people that get healed or change and become different. That's proof. So when a psychic says, I can pick a number. Okay, give me tomorrow's number and I'll put $1 billion on it and we'll both be rich. All right. Again, and the way spirit works, when the demons come into our reality, all right, I worked with a Ouija board, all right, when I was little. And the first question, my grandmother and me, we were using it, and we said, what is tomorrow's number? And it gave us a number. But the next day, the number came out. So it's a trip because when you work with energy or demons, spirits, and all that, they can give you information, but they really can't change reality from what I perceive and what I worked with. Because the next day we asked it for the number and the number didn't come out because we put money on it. Spirit knows what we're doing. Not like it's a psychic, but it's aware. Our soul is even aware. So I don't know if anybody ever worked with a Ouija board. It brings energy into it. But everybody thinks it's so bad. it's no bad, it's no worse or better than anything else. When you go into a bar and you go in there to get drunk, you're going in there to get drunk. If you pull out a Ouija board, most people just want to have fun, and they want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
they just want to talk to something. They don't even care what it says. And then if it says, oh, well, something bad's going to happen, oh, what? And then you get pulled into it. So it's creating a scenario. But if you go in with a positive energy, positive questions and suggestions, you're going to get that back. But if a bunch of people are drunk and say, let's call demons and see what they can do, you're going to pull that in. So things are bad because we make it bad, the same as things are good when we make it good. And learning to make that separation in the things we do is not becoming easy because most people believe the bad stuff's better than the good stuff now. I'm talking about drugs and drinking, partying, and all those things that slowly break us down from being this good, enlightened, compassionate person. I don't know. Do you got a specific topic you would like to talk about?
No. I guess just I want to say that people need to be kinder to each other, and that will help greatly.
You know, here in Hawaii, we got a lot of crazy things going on. I live in one of the most craziest neighborhoods on the Big Island. We got a lot of crime. We got some people that are really do anything for anybody else in the neighborhood. People getting robbed, people dying. Like 3 people died in the past month around my square block. 1 person disappeared. So there's a lot of things going on. But you know, when you say be nice, when you try to be nice, and I consider myself a nice person, I don't hurt people and abuse people, steal or rob or lie. But somebody in the neighborhood had to make a story up about me to other people, and it spread to a couple people in the neighborhood saying I'm calling them thieves and all this stuff. And if I didn't confront it, it would have grown into a giant, horrible energy. But I said, let's go to the person that said that I said this. Let's face them. And I got the person that they told that I called them thieves. And we brought the person that said it. And we all got there. And I said, okay, ask him. He's the one that, and he said everything was a lie that this other person said. So people, I don't know whether it's out of jealousy, which is a bad thing. But like when you got negative things going on, like you said, you got to try to keep them at bay, because negative thinking will bring a lot more negative things into your life. I mean, I'm working on a book. It's really hard because it's about negative energy in a great way. How to stop it, how to work with it, how to protect yourself from it. But in the interim, it's all around us, and it's growing. I don't know if I want to promote it now or not, but I will say the word. It's based on the word rape. How it affects children, how it affects life, how it affects everything going on. And at a greater level, it's becoming so sickening because conventions of organizations are using sex trade and all that stuff as a money maker. I mean, it's always sex, drugs, rock and roll. I mean, the old saying, but it's not changed much. So when we got countries still allowing them to kill children, we got countries still allowing them to beat their wives, the energy is negative. Most religions are negative, and I'm sorry to say that. I don't call myself a religionist. I study religions. I think Jesus is one of the most spiritual beings that walked this planet, but I don't say I'm a Christian because that's referring to a specific teaching, and I go against that as well. I mean, in my other book, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. So there's a lot of truth in our own selves that we need to find. So I mean, you do this daily. I give you so much credit because I don't even want to deal with people anymore at a certain kind of level, because then you got to go into their reality and be a part of their problems. I mean, my partner says, just don't talk to the neighborhood and you don't have to listen to the problems. But I walk my dog from here to the ocean every morning, and sometimes every night as well. And I get to see and hear people, and they say hi and they talk, and the stories don't get better. And
No, they don't. And I think that wait, I'm having a little bit of a technical issue here.
what do you have now? Oh, he just disappeared. Uh-oh. Shut your other screen off. Can you do that or no? If you can hear me? Well, let's see if he can come back. Oh, he's off completely now. All right, we'll see if he comes back on. But uh, Jeffrey's been a friend of mine for a while now, and I use his name a lot when I feel people are in a situation with this energy facing them and they can't deal with it. Because when you go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, they're words you don't use ever, because then they will assume you're crazy. Now, those words, assume, means their programming tells them if you talk about aliens, you talk about God, you talk about any of those things, you're crazy. I mean, and they ask the most, well, to some people, they're not stupid. Are you being followed? Do you talk to God? Would you listen to God if God talked to you? And all those things. And I think that's an ignoramus question. And I totally feel anybody walking any kind of a spiritual path, whatever God said to them, they would listen. I mean, if you go by the stories in the Bible, where and he was going to kill his son, being able to listen to God is probably the hardest thing. But in reality, it's the closest to the truth you're ever going to get. If you can listen. I hope we didn't lose him permanently. Jeffrey's cool. Where did he go? Let me see if I can get him in. Oh, where is he? I'm just going to try Skype. Hold on. Let me just see if he's... You're there somewhere. I keep changing into a different person. Oh, he's not on Skype. Oh, well. I don't know what's going on. Truth is hard to get out. And it's almost impossible. A little truth goes a long way. A long way so that it doesn't get any bigger than the truth. And they try to keep it as little as they can. The UFO world, there's very little truth out there. Oh, well, they released this, they released that. But when they say they released an idea that a ship was over something, hopefully we move past that. Oh, man, where'd Jeffrey go? I don't see him. Well, he's having some kind of problems. But when we deal with ourselves, you need to look at yourself in a mirror. Here's a technique. You go in a room, bathroom, wherever you have a mirror that you can look in. I don't know if you can dim your lights down. I mean, even if you want to just turn the lights out and put a candle on in the background. And look into yourself. It's an easy way to see inside yourself. Not just the reflection in the mirror. Look into your eyes. The eyes will bring you into a reality. All right. Of who you are. It'll take you through visions. It'll take you through a lot of things. And you don't have to do drugs. All right. You don't have to drink. It's there and it works. And I gave a person technique, and it's a good technique. If you got a red light, red bulb, it'll make it happen much faster. The experiences you'll get out of it will be mind-boggling. Oh man, I don't see him coming back in. Text me. I think his site is Starlight. Let me see if I have it in my book. Hold on. If he doesn't come back. Oh, glad people out there. I'm just going through a lot of weird stuff. Uh, Hold on. I got lost my guest here. I don't know. I don't know what problems he's having, but he had a few problems before. I'm gonna bring him on again as soon as he's free, and we'll try this again. Because today's been pretty weird every which way. We lost about 45 minutes in the beginning. Well, he's trying. Oh, Sasha's there. Let me bring him on. Hey, Sasha,
Hey, Tommy.
how are you?
I'm pretty good. I just
All right,
noticed.
my guest,
Yeah, go ahead.
my guest disappeared. They came and got him, and they took him away.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I promise.
Well, the first half hour was kind of weird, and then he came up, was trying to get on. We fixed the problem. We were going on for a while, and then he says, "Oh, I have some kind of problem," and then he was taken off. So I don't see him coming back on. But I'm glad you're here. So, did you get to hear any part of the show now?
No, I just logged into a Skype and I logged
sure.
in.
All right. Well, basically, he was the top exorcist in the United States that I know.
Wait, is this Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
And
cool.
it was pretty good because my other friend was talking about what he's dealing with. So I said, okay. I know it's getting censored. It's getting bad. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do my show before they censor me out. But yeah, I feel it's a lot more because I just upgraded everything. I just got a high-speed router because my other one only allowed 100 megabytes, whatever it is, and mine goes up to 1,000 now. So it shouldn't be the speed that I'm having problems with. Because I mean,
wow. So you have 1 gig speed?
so I checked. I mean, I got memory in my computer. I got high speed boards, and I just upgraded my router to catch up to everything.
Okay,
Because
cool.
it was blocking it. Because now they're pushing the 5G, saying you're going to get 200 on your cell phones now.
Oh, 5G. That's gonna, man. That's gonna affect so many people health wise. Man.
It's mind-boggling that people aren't aware what's happening.
Thanks, tinfoil.
We can only go so far with truth because people don't want to hear it. I know that. And the more shows I do, the more I realize less people want the truth. If they knew how dangerous the 5G was going to be, they wouldn't want it. Oh, I can talk fast, but you can also die faster.
Do you think a lot of these mayors understand the dangers of 5G, or are they just not aware of them?
Here's my scenario, and I mean this, and I'm not making this up for any reason. I'm not a hater. I hate that people don't care, but people, and I put this out there. I put it on the Trump's site even. I said, if one person in Congress knew why the weather was really changing, they would actually be able to say something about it.
Okay.
But I am sure not one of them understands what a chemtrail is. Never mind what fracking really is, what it does. Never mind the HARP system. So the things that are affecting us the most, they have no clue. They don't know what they are, where they come from, how they act, what they do to the planet. And we got Trump saying we'll go back to what? Oil? And he wants fracking, he wants geothermal, he wants all these things. And he's taking away the parks, he's allowing animals to die, he's just doing all these things, counteracting to how we tried to make this world a little bit better. Never mind peace with other countries and all that. But like you said, we have to realize that there's a truth there. If anybody wants the truth, they can find it. All right. If they're not willing to look and dig and to get to it, obviously they're not going to find it. So when we talk about what's happening, Ask these people, do they know how many people die in a day? I bet they don't even know that.
Your
Because,
audio is muffled again.
well, today has been a really screwy up day, and
Okay.
it shouldn't be doing that. I will check the speed when I'm done with the show today and see what's going on, but it shouldn't
You
be a
have a
problem.
you have an interesting backdrop.
You like it? I'm in fire today. I went out of the clouds and I went into the fire. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah.
but we each open ourselves to things that we probably shouldn't, and we accept them. So these people in Congress, they're old. Freaking Bernie, imagine he got in for 2 terms. He'd be what, 1,000 years old? I mean, how old is he now? And even Trump, 4 years older, he's already senile. Another 4 years on top of that. Now, I don't know how old Putin is. You want to check that real fast?
I can. Yeah. Yeah. You can just keep talking. I'll go ahead
Because
and start.
Putin is changing the laws in his country now. He's making it that he can stay the dictator, which he will be, for the rest of his life. And they won't be able to take him out. If Trump works with Russia, which he does in a lot of ways, he'll do the same thing. And he's already setting it up to be that. Take everybody that doesn't like you out, take all the people that need you and leave them in. Because if he says, oh, you don't listen to me, I'm going to fire you. And you lose your job. So all these people will be his bodyguards, what I would say, protecting, agreeing with what he says as well.
Vladimir Putin is 68.
See, he's younger than Trump. So yeah, if he lived another 10 years, he'd still be walking around at least. These other people in Congress can barely get into this, sit down in their chair, never mind tell us what's going on in the real world. Did they ever get outside themselves? Did they know anything about aliens? No. Did they know anything about ghosts and spirits? No. Did they know anything that's important, that's really affecting the planet? Well, Russia, Iran, Iraq, that's countries. What's wrong with them? They believe in a perverted or twisted idea of religion. Uh, Anything that allows abuse is wrong. I don't care. You don't have to be a spiritualist or religionist to know that. If you hurt somebody else, it's wrong. You never can justify that. I mean, if you do, you're rewriting the Ten Commandments, you're rewriting the Bible, and you're rewriting your ego. So we're at a sad place. Oh, I guess he's not coming back. Well, if I had him, I'll try to get him back in a couple of days. Sorry, people. Yeah, I wanted him to like go a little bit deeper because he does it over the phone, which I wouldn't want to do. And I was trying to get to the points that like how many people are really possessed by a demon or an entity. How many people show real signs like talking in 3 different languages? Or I mean, there's a lot of different things. Turning their head sideways, jumping up and down, and levitating something, or any of those kind of things. Where these people, when you watch the movie, see, it takes one thing, and here's the sad part. The brain is like a computer. You type in school is a place where I go to learn. The brain keeps that in its thinking for the rest of its life. It's a wrinkle, one little computer notch in his brain that says that. And all these little notches we put inside the brain aren't useful. It has nothing pertaining to do with spiritual truth and things like that. So we get all these little notches and you put, oh, religion, oh, Muslim, Buddhism, Hinduism, okay, Christianity, Republican, Democrat. All these little words create scenarios inside the brain. So when you ask it a question, it runs through that stuff to pull out its answer. It doesn't go deeper inside itself. Soul can't say what's really going on. And with Trump changing everything, attacking everything, children playing games that are so bad, they can't unfold any kind of aware level of knowingness. Now, What makes that worse, in my viewpoint, is all these new age spiritual speakers claiming to be spiritual. Now, people, listen to all my shows. Tell me when you heard me say I'm a spiritual person. I walk a spiritual path, but that doesn't make me a spiritual person. Walking a spiritual path doesn't make anybody a spiritual person. And then I would say, ask yourself, what makes you a spiritual person? And when you get the answer, let me know.
I've been reading over your latest book release, The True Teachings of Jesus, and it's interesting because I catch things that I didn't, the previous time I read it. So,
well,
even people trying to follow the spiritual laws in the physical, I would think would be impossible.
Well, we can maintain the idea that we can't kill somebody if you get mad. All right. There's things where you have to take control and be able to take control of it. Well, that's easy, but if you're scared, you do stupid things. Well, that's true. If a creature jumps out in front of your car, smashes his hand through the window, you're going to freak. Well, just sit back and be happy and say, oh, I forgive you. No, it's not going to work. So the idea, like you said, is we're in an environment that's active. So when you walk down the road, you've got to keep moving. You stand in one place too long, something's going to hit you, something's going to run you over, or something's going to happen. But what's the other word? Least resistance. You don't walk where there's 50 million trees that you have to climb around and jump over.
Yeah, the path with the least resistance. Yeah.
So, and that means staying out of trouble the best you can, not drinking and partying until you're drunk and try to drive a car, not doing hardcore drugs all the time and then jumping off a cliff and things like that to see if you can. I mean, there's limitations to how far you can go. Cursing's not a good thing. It affects the thinking. I mean, all these little things that we assume is okay, well, cursing's not bad. Well, it wouldn't be in the Bible if it wasn't bad. It wouldn't be part of the Ten Commandments. And when I say curse, and cursing means using God's name in vain. Not saying we created words like the bad words and things like that. We created them. All right.
Yeah, when I try to explain people, there's a huge difference between the makeup of the word religion and God or Jesus. They can't understand that there's a separation between that.
It's kind of bizarre.
They're like, Sasha, what do you mean by you still follow the Ten Commandments, but that means you have to believe the Bible? I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't.
See, why they put Jesus in the spot that he's in, and they say what he is and all that kind of stuff. All right. When you look at Jesus, who he was, and what he became after he died, man takes things and they push him in this notch where it has to be what they want it to be.
Yeah.
Like you said, when you're focusing in on something, and you find what the program is, you should be able to weigh it. Is it good or bad? Oh, well, there's no such thing as good and bad. Oh, well, just keep put your hand in the fire that my head's on and leave it there for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You're not going to make it, no matter what you do, what you think, what you tell yourself. You can tell yourself everything's good, but in the end, you'll find out how good it really was. People that do hardcore drugs, sooner or later, find out how bad it is. People that abuse people, sooner or later, find out how bad it is. But I say it this way. I don't know if many people agree with it. Karma, which I hope people know what the word is, it's cause and effect. What you do, you have to pay off sooner or later. But I look at it a little different than a lot of other people. Karma is something. You don't have to pay it off right now. It's like you got a credit card. You can keep going out and buying things any day you want. If you got a $50,000 credit card, you could buy $50,000 worth of things. You can go out every day and buy a toothbrush, food. You can buy toys. You can buy sport things. and just keep going and going and going. But there comes a point when that credit card says, you got no more money. All right, karma, you can build it up, and you can keep building it. There is always a place when there is no space for more, and you have to pay it off. And that's why suddenly there's an accident in your family, you have a heart attack or stroke, and different things happen. Well, no, that's somebody else. No, it's all our fault for what happens to us. I mean, how bad or good it gets is depending how much karma we got to pay back. And we listen to spirit guides, we can learn there's a right and wrong action for everything we do. And Sasha, I explained to you a couple techniques already.
Yes.
I mentioned it today about using a light or just looking in the mirror. You need to reflect. And I mean,
I actually do that. I've got a lamp right behind me that's got a red light bulb in it, and I use that during the meditation as well.
Cool. Now, what are you using for the screen?
Right now, still my computer screen when it's off, because it's a great reflective.
Okay. I mean, so you found a way to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
All right. So, people, there's techniques, and I'm not making money on anything I say. I don't do it for money. I only do it for anybody that has ears with a brain in between them that can listen to what I'm saying and then try to incorporate it, or at least see if it's worth incorporating into their reality. Believing in God is never going to be the wrong thing. I don't care what people say. Well, you believe in God, you're locked into what? God?
So you're like, what? So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Do you know what God is? Well, he said you can't do this. And he said what? Did you talk to him lately? And that's what he said? So when people put words in God's mouth, it's even amazingly pretty screwed up. If people really feel that, well, I know what God's thinking. Do you really? I just listened to Mr. Deepak Chopra himself. Oh, no, sorry. Eckhart Tolle just a little while ago today.
He's still at it?
Oh, he's at it. He's making millions of dollars. Why is he going to stop?
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
And I told my partner, and she goes, that's what a lot of people do. They take a part of Buddhist teachings and they mix it to a reality where a reality is not even ready to deal with certain aspects of it or can understand it. Not that I believe in the Buddhist belief system completely at all. Deities are real. All the deities they talk about are real. But how we interact and what we do when we talk to them and everything else is a little different than most people's conception of that. So when I talk about deities, I experience them. I work with them. I work with 3 different deities for many years. But I learned a lot. Not a lot about this world. Prayer doesn't help. It helps you think you're helping, which is a scenario. Is it good or is it bad? Well, if you believe it's good, it's good. If you believe it's bad, it's bad. But does it really help? I always say, look at the end result. Does it help? Did it help? If the whole world prays, which they do a couple times a year, as many people as they can, to make the world better, peaceful, loving, does the world change? Oh, well, if you pray over a plant, it grows. Well, maybe you gave it a little more water today. Maybe you were a little more caring about the plant today. So, yeah, it's growing, but not because you prayed over it. Or they can hear us and we can talk to them. And what do you say to a plant? Grow, I want your fruit. Or I want your flowers. So how do you talk to a plant? And what do you say to it? Are you thinking like, well, I'm a human and you're just a plant? And you're going to be a plant forever? You can reincarnate as a human next lifetime. What are you going to tell the poor plant? And is it really listening? They put graphs on plants and when they talk to them. So imagine.
Well, if you remember your past life, you could tell to the plant, did you miss me?
Right. Oh, that's a tomato plant. Oh, that's a tree. That was here when I died.
Right.
But we're so much greater in so many ways if we just try to stay focused on a good path. But the way we're going is downhill, and it's picking up speed.
See, me personally, I've done all I could legally, talking to my local government about stopping the 5G rollout, and they're not going to do it. So I am seriously considering moving outside town?
Well, a friend of mine, he's got a house up in Costa Rica. He's off the grid. He grows his vegetables and everything else. He's got a river right near his property, so he's all set.
You know,
Well, he doesn't have to deal with politics. He doesn't have to deal with any of that.
see, that's nice. That's nice.
But here's what I just found out. And not that it has to do with demons, but in a way it does. But the thing that people need to really pull up, check it out. It's real. The UN 21, Agenda 21. You need to read about it, read how they're going to do it, and what it really means.
Have you read the Agenda 2030?
Probably not.
I would.
What's
I would
30?
give that I would give that a read because that's pretty much their sustainable, claim, claiming people into like smart grid cities so they can monitor everybody.
Well, see, basically what that would mean, okay, it's UN Agenda 21 means they want to do it by the 21st century. If they're saying UN 30, maybe they're trying to do it by the year 3000.
Huh.
But the world's not going to be the same no matter what. It's not even going to happen. They couldn't even have the time to get what they want into place. The world's not going to be around long enough for that to be turned into what they think it's going to be by that time. If they do it in a year or two, I feel they could get a lot closer to their goals of what they want to do. Because basically, the virus, if they allow it or spread it, could take out a lot of people. Then it makes everything so much more easier for them to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
The less people you have to fight with, the less people you have to control. The less people you have to feed. All those things make it easier for them. But what they do want to do, which is part of the Agenda 21, is get people out of the rural areas and put them into the cities.
Yep.
And keep them in a place where they can control them. Why do you think they... And I'm going to tell you a short story. I went to Sedona. I was going up to Flagstaff to do a vision quest, and then I was going to go to Arizona on a journey. It's called Journey of the Waters with the medicine woman I study with. Well, during that time frame, I was only there for a couple weeks. But when we talk about, I would say, hey, they told me there's a beautiful crystal clear falls to go to, and it's like water slides and everything there. So I was with a friend, and we drove down there, and the rocks are smooth, and they got this waterfalls going down it, and it's like water slides, but natural. And it was so much fun. But somebody said, oh, there's a crystal clear lake down, you got to go over that road. So we started driving down this road. Nobody's there. And it just aqua light blue lake right there. I mean, it had a stream going into it and everything, but it was incredible. So we both jumped in there and were swimming. And this is a couple there, and they come over to us. Oh, you found this place, huh? And I said, yeah, it's beautiful. She goes, well, you know what happened here? And I said, no. Basically, there was 30 families living there, all off the grid. They were killed. The government wrote a story saying this terrorist group came in and killed them all. Why would a terrorist group come in and kill these people living in a remote area? No reason to. So obviously, they were afraid they would create some kind of scenario of living life without being part of the system. So I remember the road that it went down. It was called Cookieville or something. And it was like, they said you have to go a little bit further down, but that's where all the houses were. That was the community and everything else. But, bringing it up to the more present time, I had a friend who worked for NASA. And I told the story a couple times, but I brought him over my house, over Sergeant 18's house, to look at pictures of UFOs. And during that time frame,
your image is fading.
I'm changing it to black. Right? Then the darkness.
Okay.
the darkness came in and
Okay.
it took over because within 1 week, his whole family disappeared. All right. And during that time frame, his children were taken out of school, and it was like he never came back. I never talked to him again, and we were going to start a community of what I was actually talking about. Uh, Hold on, let me just fix that real fast. Why is it happening? Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, your audio is getting muffled.
My image is staying fuzzy too as well.
Yeah.
Hold on, there it is. Okay, I'll fix it right now. Sorry about that. It actually moved. Don't ask me how.
Well, now you're invisible.
I'm the Invisible Man, the new TV, the new movie coming out.
Yeah, people will be wondering, it's like, who's Sasha talking to?
The Man in Black. I'm trying to get myself in there, but that's where I'm going to stay. A little fuzzy, but I'm there. Wow. You know, it's amazing. Everything was fine, and now it's not. But I'm going to stay the Man in Fuzz. Okay, getting back to the scenario. All right. As I learned about this thing, and then I had my friend come over, and he said, "Well, let's start a community." He worked for NASA. He had a machine. He could make anything with it, meaning he could, if anything broke, he could fix it. And we made a date. We said, "Well, let's get together next Wednesday, and we'll talk about it. We'll have a pool party," which we did. And then which we were going to, I mean. And at that party, we were going to talk about how we were going to create the scenario. He said he had property. He said, we'll all move there. Have to go back to the real world for anything. I don't know what happened. I guess the lighting changed or something.
Well, yeah.
But, well, that's the way it's going to stay for now. I'll take my glasses off so it doesn't look that bad. So, in the interim, 3 days later, we were supposed to make the exact time frame and everything. It was going to be like on a Wednesday. It was a Monday. I couldn't get him. Once I got a recording, his children disappeared out of school, and his family disappeared. His whole family disappeared. Never heard from him again. So, you know, when they talk about the New World Order, and then you hear the word Patriot Bill, all the rights we had are disappearing. The rights to create a militia has been taken away from us. I mean, the right of free speech. We don't have free speech.
No.
I mean, once upon a time, maybe back then, but I guess there was a lot of things you could never say, no matter what you are. So now we're at a place where everybody believes aliens are going to come here and help us. And Satan has his army cruising the neighborhood for everybody to pick them up.
Sounds like an easy way out for all of the problems that we humans have created.
Well, you know, it's going to be a way out of life into death, and how people are going to react to that or deal with that. It's going to be a different story. But we created this scenario, and it became so obscene, twisted. We're not ever going to get back. All right. Before I don't want to go too much longer, but Jeffrey Seelman, it's Seelman, Jeffrey. Pull up his site. It's Crystal Light. I'm not sure what it is, but he said if you listen to his videos, he's got a couple videos there about protection and things like that that might be beneficial for people that are dealing with the words possession, or I call them abduction as well. So check it out. a good person, call him, he'll talk to you, and you could set up or see what he wants, or what he would do with you, or how he could do it, what he can actually help you with. It's a good thing. Did you put something up? Oh,
Yep.
there it is. Oh, can you put it up? Answer screen. There he is. I hope you can see it, everybody. Can you read what the site is on that, or no? I hope.
It's starclear.com.
All right, everybody. STARCLEAR.
Yep, star as in star and then clear altogether.com.
All right, everybody. That's not too complicated. Check him out. Read his stuff. Listen to some of the audios. It might be a good thing, because we each need help here and there, and I would only give you a place what I would trust that would help you in a good way. He doesn't deal with bad aliens. He doesn't deal with bad spirits, bad angels, and things like that. So you have the choice to live in a situation that you're in, or change it. And hopefully you decide to make changes in that. Sasha, I'm glad you came on.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna try to bring him back. I mean, we got cut off, and we can usually talk for a couple hours. So we'll bring that back out in the next couple weeks. I'll try to get another date from him. But till then, stay on the top. Don't go on the bottom. Stay away from the garbage if you can. Avoid the things that you know are wrong, and try to make a place for yourself in your own mind and spirit and body, a place where you want to be. All right, outside in that other part of the world, it might not be what you want, so don't go there. You have to get food and have to do certain things. Do it, but don't let it pull you into that side. Stay with this clarity inside your own consciousness, saying, I'm working to become a spiritual being. I want to get out of this world eventually. I want to be the best I can. I want to be totally aware. Well, those thoughts will help you. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here. My site's Hawksblood1, HAWKSBLOOD1, AOL.com. If you read the thing going across the bottom, the banner, you will see the site. Email me anytime. If you're interested in my books, I send my first 2 books out as an ebook for free. I hope you make a decision to move forward. If you listen to a lot of the stuff out there, you'll stay where you are and just assume that you're happy. But with that, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm sorry about the beginning. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut it out or not. I'm going to try. If I can't, I'm going to just tell people to try to fast forward about a half hour.
Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait until you upload this to YouTube, because I want to watch stuff from the beginning.
All right. So everybody, peace, love, compassion, whatever you want in your life. Hope you get it. And it's till next time, which will be Tuesday when I have Tina on, and we'll be talking about UFOs and aliens. So with that, the truth is out there. You need to find it. Take it easy, Sasha. Next time.
Okay, Tommy, I appreciate it.
Peace,
Bye.
everybody.